Welcome to Talking Technology with VI Labs. At VI Labs, we believe technology is the single greatest enabler for people with sight loss and all disabilities. If you're looking for the latest news and conversation on tech from a more accessible perspective, you've come to the right place.
Hello and welcome in to Talking Technology, episode number 51. Can you believe we're at 51 already for the 20th of February 2024. Hope you're keeping well. Hope all is going well. It's rotten weather here in Cork, unfortunately, but hey, we are getting through it. Now, just so you know, there does seem like we have had one or two technical hiccups at the start of the show there, but if you're having any issues joining us or hearing us on Teams, you can head over to the website and you can listen along live on the website too. Go to vi.ie/live and you will be able to hear us loud and clear there as well. So apologies for that, but hopefully you can hear us loud and clear. And yeah, don't worry if things are sounding off. It's not all Teams' fault. I have to take some of the blame personally. I've got a bit of a cold. So apologies for that as well. But hey, the show must go on. Do you know, it's funny. The hardest thing about having a cold, right, is my dictation doesn't understand me anymore. I'm seriously struggling. I was dictating a thing about Be My AI this morning. And anytime I referred to it as a very useful tool, it became a very useful tune. And there's a big difference, but there you go. What can you do? Anyway, we have, as I say, the show must go on. So we have a packed show coming up for you over the next little while. We'll be talking to Karthik, the CTO of Envision AI. We'll be talking to him later on in the show about some of the really, really cool stuff coming to both the Envision glasses and the Envision AI app. And we will have some really interesting stuff in tech news coming up later on as well, including audio description for the Six Nations Rugby on ITV. We'll be talking about that later on in the show. So let's go through some contact details, shall we? Do you want to get in touch with us? Well, if you want to join the conversation, there are loads of different ways that you can get in touch with Talking Technology, not least our brand new WhatsApp voice note number. We introduced this in episode 50, and thank you, by the way, to so many of you who got in touch with us after that. We'll listen to some of your voice notes in just a few minutes. Myself and Joe will be going through those. But if you do want to get in touch with any of us here, you want to tell us about what you think of some of the topics that we've discussed, send us a voice note. The number you need is 086 199 0011. That's 086 199 0011. And also, if you do want to get in touch with us the old-fashioned way, using your email, you can still do that as well. You can send us an email to content@vi.ie. That's content@vi.ie. So whether it's a voice note, whether it's an email, whether it's text, whatever, we would absolutely love to hear from you. So with that said, let's listen to a few voice notes then from the week gone by, shall we? And to join me to talk about some of your voice notes, I'm joined from Kilkenny by the one and only Mr. Joe Lonergan. Joe, how are you?
Hi David, I'm good, thanks.
Good, Joe. It's been a busy week in the world of technology. You're looking forward to the Envision glasses chat later on?
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what's new. I hear they have some AI performance going on, so I'm looking forward to hearing what that's like.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll chat about that later on in the show. But first, some voice notes, Joe. We did have a few people get in touch with us after the show last week. So the first one we got in was from Lisa in Cork, who was telling us her thoughts on our talking air fryer unboxing that we did in the last show.
David, it's Lisa from Cork. I actually feel like the unboxing of the air fryer was just not enough. To get the proper experience, I feel like you're going to have to send us some samples of everything you make. So now we can use this new voice memos for everyone to sending their addresses. And I know you'll be sending us some samples. So looking forward to that. Thanks, David.
Lisa, don't encourage people. It's one of these things. But are you looking for samples as well, Joe?
David, I hear your speciality is Japanese spring rolls. So yeah, go on, send it on a few. It might be a bit cold by the time to get to me, but look, I can reheat them. I have a reheat function on my one, so
yeah, it's true.
Go ahead.
I was in Aldi the other day, and Be My AI failed me, so I ended up coming home with duck infused what I can only describe as like Japanese spring rolls. They're called gyoza or gyoza, I believe. But I tried them and they were really nice, actually.
Typical blind problem, isn't it? Picking up the wrong product in the supermarket. It
is, but you know what? I enjoyed it. It wasn't as big a mistake as I thought. They were quite all right. But yeah, no, the air fryer did perform relatively okay, I must say. And it's hard for me to fault it. It was one of my first times really properly using it for something that I didn't know how to do. And yeah, it worked pretty okay, so I can't complain about it. So, sorry, Lisa, we won't be sending samples to everyone. But I will provide more detailed feedback for sure on vi.ie pretty soon in the Tech on Tap newsletter. So
I want to see you cooking and giving a video with your baker's hat on, David.
Yeah, do you know what? That's probably a good and a bad idea, Joe. You would risk, I would imagine, catching a house burning down on video. But it would be entertaining, I guess. I'm sure it will get at least a few views.
Great stats on that one, I think.
Yeah, do you know what? I think so. If we can get, if we could expense a house to the Vision Ireland budgets, maybe we'll do it. But I don't know. Thank you so much, Lisa, for getting in touch with that. Someone else who got in touch with us after last week's show was Derry Lawler, and Derry was talking about the new recorders from Zoom.
Hi, David. Great that you've got the WhatsApp up and running for messages. I'm looking forward to testing out the new Zoom recorders that are coming out later on this year. I've just ordered myself the Zoom H1 Essential, the one H1E, so they should be good. Yeah, the air fryer sounds like a great thing. Sounds very loud though, so good luck and happy cooking.
Thanks, Derry. Yeah, it actually, do you know what? When actually using it, it wasn't that loud, to be fair. I didn't find it even too annoying. It did say a fryer temperature high quite a lot, but that was the only time I was like, will this thing ever stop talking? But generally it wasn't actually too bad. But those Zoom accessible recorders now coming with a screen reader, Joe. Is it something you're interested in?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going looking into getting one of those, David. Sounds like a great option for someone with sight loss. The built-in screen reader has sold it to me. Yes, well, I don't think it's available till June or July, so I'll have to just pre-order, as Derry said. So I think there's 3 or 4 different types, so I haven't decided which one I'd get yet. But it's not just to differentiate. It's nothing to do with making Zoom calls or anything like that. Zoom is the brand of the recorder. So it looks like a good option, David. You have one of the older versions, I gather.
Yeah, I do. I've got a Zoom H4n Pro. This is going back, I think these were released a good few years ago, like 2017 or 18, I think. But mine does not have any accessibility features. And do you know what? There was a part of me that was thinking, maybe I'll hold out until my current audio recorder gives up and then I can go for one of the accessible ones. But I was actually recording at an event last week, right? And it was something so simple, but the battery ran out. And I was thinking in my head that if I had heard a warning to tell me that the battery was low or something like that in advance of that, I would not have made that mistake. So you're right, Joe, and I'm now more tempted than I was to go get one of these, because there are 3 models. There's a H1E, H4E, and H6E. So these are proper high-end audio recorders. They use these a lot in radio and broadcasting and so on. But yeah, I'm now much more tempted than I was to get one, because as broadcast equipment goes, you don't often see it with accessibility, and this is pretty exciting in that regard for sure.
Yeah, I think they know there's a niche out there, and there is a lot of vision impaired people into recording and almost professional recording. So yeah, hopefully that goes well for Derry.
Absolutely. And do maybe send us in a demo, Derry. We'd love to hear it. It would be great to get a demo. So do get back in touch and let us know your thoughts. But thank you so much. Yeah, I will have to consider buying one of those. Another person who got in touch with us after our episode 50 last time was Edvard. And Edvard was very complimentary of the podcast. And here is his comments.
Hey guys, Edward here. First off, I will say congratulations making it to the big 5-0 in the episodes, and for getting this new WhatsApp number for us to stay in touch. I might actually stay in touch more frequently now, and you'll never know, I might come with some tech tips for you guys. So I have to say quick congratulations. Keep on going with your new episode. You guys are absolutely incredible. I listen to you all the times, and it always excites me when you guys come out with new episodes. So keep on going, and we will talk soon.
Thanks so much, Edvard. Really appreciate that. Yeah, Joe, really complimentary of the podcast, and it's fantastic to get that kind of feedback, isn't it?
It's lovely, a lovely comment to come in from Edvard. So yeah, you have a great accent as well, Edvard. So we look forward to hearing your contributions in the future. And if you have a tech demo, that's all the better. We'd love to hear new tech demos, and it will help other service users. That'd be great.
Absolutely. And if people do, of course, want to send tech demos, tech opinions, anything like that to us, we would absolutely love to hear from you. You can send us a WhatsApp voice note using WhatsApp. Don't call the number, but send us a WhatsApp voice note to 086 199 0011. That's 086 199 0011, and we would absolutely love to hear from you. Maybe you've got a new piece of tech or anything like that. I think it would be so cool. This is your podcast as much as it's ours, so we really want to hear your thoughts, your opinions on anything that we discussed today, or maybe you got that new piece of tech. We'd love to hear from you, so please do get in touch. So yeah, thank you so much, Joe, for checking out those voice notes with me. You'll be back later on for quick picks, so do stick around. But thank you, Joe, for now, and we will catch you later on.
Thank you, David.
So moving on talking technology this week, this is a conversation I must say I am really, really excited for. We are catching up with Karthik, the CTO of Envision, and they have developed, I think, what is genuinely really cool technology. Now, we've had Envision on the podcast before. I've also written a review of the Envision glasses for the vi.ie website, but I'm really excited to chat to Karthik about some of the really cool new features coming to the glasses, because I think since January, some of the new features have just been wild. So, Karthik, welcome to Talking Technology. Firstly, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Karthik Kannan, and I am one of the founders of Envision. Envision is a company that builds tools that help people with a visual impairment to live more independently. So we've got the Envision glasses, which is a pair of smart glasses that have a camera and a speaker on them. And essentially what they do is they take pictures of anything and everything around you and then just convert them into speech. So you could be sitting at a restaurant and you could scan a menu with the Envision glasses, and it would like read out the menu to you. You can even ask the glasses specific questions about the document you just scanned. For example, like, hey, can you tell me all the vegetarian starters in the menu? And the glasses can go ahead and do that. Can recognize faces of friends and family, can recognize personal belongings, can give you detailed descriptions of what's there around you. And you can even make video calls directly from these glasses to a friend or a family member. And all the stuff that I spoke to you about is also available as an app that you can install on your phone and use it along with the glasses. So that's what we do.
Awesome. So there's so much to talk about here. I do want to go back a little bit for a second. You mentioned there the scene descriptions and stuff like that. And that's something that I played around with when reviewing the Envision glasses originally. But you've taken that to the next level in recent times because you've integrated, as I understand it, GPT in a similar way to a tool like Be My AI. So where did this idea come from and how are things working now?
Sure. So, last year when GPT-4 came out, it was, I think, exactly 1 year to this day is when GPT-4 came out, which was, OpenAI's flagship model. It's the one that came out just right after ChatGPT got launched. And when we got early access to this model, we've been in touch with the OpenAI people for a long time. And, we got early access to this model as developers. And when we started playing around with it, it just became completely apparent to us that this is like, probably the most impactful technology of this decade. And especially, it can help a lot of blind or low vision people get access to information faster, right? So you could be sitting and scanning a utility bill, for example, and if you could just scan that bill and ask a question as to how much you want to pay for it, or I just told you about what you can do with a menu card at a restaurant, right? Or what you could do with, for example, just a book that you're trying to read, a novel that you're trying to read or a textbook that you're trying to read, you could just scan them with the glasses and ask questions. And you could do that with documents. And what we thought was when we got access to the GPT, vision model that came out a little later, last year, we thought we could take that and put that on the Envision glasses. And so people can take a picture of anything around them and ask it a question. So you could be outside at a stadium and you can just take a picture and you can ask it a question like, oh, what's there in front of me right now? Or you could be, taking a picture of your wardrobe and you can ask, hey, can you tell me, what color T-shirt would I want to wear with the pants that I'm wearing today, right? So you could ask questions of any image that you scan, and that is the big update that we have pushed on the Envision glasses in the recent past. So anyone who has a pair of Envision glasses can just get a free update, and you can go ahead and use the new describe scene functionality with GPT Vision, and you can also ask follow-up questions with GPT Vision. So you get a remarkable detail, without having to take out a phone from your hand and then point it around and take a picture. So that's the big update that we have on the glasses in the recent past.
Fantastic. And am I correct in saying that feature is available to, or that update, I should say, is available to everyone with the Envision glasses? There's no subscription for those updates? Because I think you did talk on the last time that we were on the podcast that you were planning to introduce a subscription, I think, for annual updates. And is this an exception to that, or how does that work?
Yeah, so this is basically an exception, this came out before we launched the subscription, stuff. So subscription stuff, the subscription update came out on the 1st of January. So anyone who's purchased the glasses last year or, the year before should be, should have access to this update out of the box. So it is available for everyone to use. And as we continue to improve this feature, it will continue to be available for people to use as well. Yeah.
Brilliant. Fantastic. I do want to talk a little bit about the Envision app, because many people who listen to this, they're going to have iPhones, Android phones and stuff like that already. And you develop an app that is, I guess, in a similar vein to something like Seeing AI and apps like that. But is Envision, going to bring those really detailed scene descriptions to the app? Because I know you've rolled out the document analysis tool. I was actually beta testing that, and it's really impressive. But in terms of those scene descriptions, is that something that's going to roll to the app?
Yes. So you're right. We also have the Envision app, which is an app that anyone can install for free on both iOS and Android. And we also have Ask Envision on the Envision app as well, which means that unlike other apps where you can only scan documents or you can only scan one image at a time, you can import an entire PDF, Word file, EPUB file, or whatever, right? You could import an entire textbook of 200 pages in the Envision app, and you can ask it questions of that particular document. So it's incredibly powerful if you're looking to read books and you want to ask questions. You could be reading a novel and you want to ask a question about a specific character. You could use the Envision app to do that, and there is no limit on the number of pages you can import, or there's no limit to the type of documents you can import as well. So and that update is available for everyone using the Envision app as of today. It's a completely free update, and the app is always going to be free. 2, we're also rolling out the same feature on the app for Describe Scene as well. So now you can take a picture, get very detailed descriptions, and you can ask follow-up questions of that picture as well. I think very similar to what you might experience with other apps. And lastly, we're also bringing an update to Ask Envision for document scanning, where not only does the app understand text, it's also going to be able to answer any questions about figures, tables, and charts that are actually there in documents. So you could be importing a newspaper article which has an image, and the app will be, app and the glasses will be able to understand not just the text, but will also be able to give you a detailed caption of the image as well, right? So pretty much any information you think is available in a document or in a scene, you can ask questions, you can get detailed descriptions, and so on. And all of them are going to roll out in the next 1 month. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. So that's not even a long way away, which is fantastic. Now, yeah. I do need to ask the question, because using something like GPT and apps like this, and I've asked this similar question for the folks at Be My AI. Using things like GPT's APIs and stuff like that does come at a cost for you guys as Envision, as a company. So is the app, when all of these things start to roll out and as they are used presumably more and more, is the app going to remain free, and how are you going to sustain the app as usage increases?
So, one, the app is always going to remain free. It's not going to be something that we're going to be charging for. I think the idea with the app is that it's always going to be something. It's always something that we thought of as a way to provide access to this technology without any barriers, right? It's always going to be the case. Secondly, the technology we use is not OpenAI's GPT stuff, right? For example, what you see today with the Ask Envision feature on Scan Text, that's not OpenAI's technology. It's us building on top of open source AI and fine-tuning those open source AI models with our own in-house expertise, which means that unlike other companies, we're not beholden to one single company giving us credits or one single API or one single model, right? And because open source AI is improving at a rapid pace, and because we have the in-house technology expertise to understand how this AI works, we will be able to continue to deliver, these advances for people at scale, and at some point in the future, even on device. So that's something that I strongly believe in, that open source AI is going to continue to improve and grow at a pace and match what's happening with closed source AI, proprietary AI. And we're going to continue to leverage that technology with the help of the data that we have, and with also advances in making those models available offline. So I definitely see a very sustainable path for us. And I think, when people use the app, they eventually understand that, the glasses are a much better form factor for using this technology on a daily basis. And we hope eventually that more people, switch to the glasses, and that helps us offset the cost of keeping the app up and running. That's what we're looking to do.
For sure.
Yeah, so I think this is very much sustainable if you have the right engineering skills. Yeah,
that's really even to get to where you're at already is a really impressive achievement. Building on just open source projects and stuff like that. So really well done to the team on that. I do want to talk to you a little bit about the future in terms of, like, we've recently had like massive new devices, specifically around like Apple Vision Pro and devices like that. We've also seen other AI glasses hit the market from companies like Meta. Where does Envision sit within that? Because at this point, you're currently using the Google Glass technology.
So I think, the reason why we are using Google's technology and will continue to do so, at least in the near future, is because of two things, right? Now, if you look at the Meta glasses that are coming out from, Meta right now, it's great if you are connected to an internet all the time. It's great if you just want to take a picture and get like basic descriptions of what is there around you and so on. The Meta Assistant and the Meta glasses still not powerful enough as the Envision glasses are for a blind or low vision person to use on a daily basis. On the other end of the spectrum is the Apple Vision Pro. Now, the Apple Vision Pro is incredibly powerful. And, we've been building with the Apple team since November, months before the Apple Vision Pro came out. We've been building a version of the Envision app that will go on the Apple Vision, that will go on the Apple Vision Pro. And while it's a great piece of technology, and I'm extremely bullish that eventually this thing is going to come down to a form factor that is portable, as of today, the Apple Vision Pro is too expensive, too bulky, and honestly, it's not as capable, or as portable, sorry, as the Envision glasses. So the Envision glasses is still, portable and powerful enough to run AI models, and are powerful enough to deliver actual value to blind or low vision people at this point. So I'm still quite bullish about it. Having said that, I can't reveal too much, but we are in talks with all major, manufacturers of glasses to also have our, software onto those glasses as well. And lastly, Envision will also be available on the desktop. So Envision is going to be available on Windows, Mac, Linux, and your web browsers as an extension in the month of March. We're going to be rolling out this to everybody. So all the, scanning a document, or making, getting a summary of a web page, or if you encounter, a particular captcha that you can't read, or if you can encounter an element on a web page that is not accessible, you can just summon Envision and then go ahead and ask it to give you a description or help you with tasks on a web page, right? So that is something that we'll be launching in the month of March, or maybe early April.
Will that be
so
free?
That's also, yeah, it will be. Yes.
Wow, that's impressive.
It'll be. Yeah, it'll be free, and eventually it'll also, almost run entirely. If your PC or Mac is powerful enough, it'll almost run entirely on your device as well, right? And it'll all work together seamlessly with the Envision glasses. So you could be scanning a document, at your desk with the Envision glasses, and then you can have them boom on your desktop for you to read later on. And we're also exploring ways where we can build NVDA, plugins, so you can use them with your screen reader as well.
Well, you're not slowing down, I'll give you that. That's fairly impressive. How do things like, for now, I mean, the Envision glasses at the moment, like, they're really useful in the sense of, when you're connected to the internet and stuff like that. How long do you think it's going to be before we start see these devices go independent of the internet in many respects, because a lot of the use cases I think I've found for like technology like this, it's in like train stations and transport hubs and stuff like that, where this, where you mightn't always have access to the internet. So how far out do you think we are from this stuff being independent of the internet?
When we first launched the Envision glasses in 2020, almost 80% of the functionality required an internet connection. As of today, only 40% of the functionality requires an internet connection. So we've managed to literally bring 60 to 70% of the Envision glasses completely offline. And it's not just the trivial stuff, right? You can now scan a document entirely with the Envision glasses, read a document entirely with the Envision glasses completely offline in over 50 different languages. You can detect faces, you can detect objects, you can go ahead and detect color, currency. Almost like 70% of the glasses can work completely offline, and which is also still why I think the Envision glasses as of today is a great buy, despite other glasses, starting to show up in the market, because it's powerful enough to run these computer vision or AI models on the glasses. So you don't need to be connected to the internet all the time. Having said that, there is still some things, for example, being able to make a video call. You still need to be connected to the internet for that. Very sure. Similar to your FaceTime or WhatsApp call, right? Or, incredibly powerful AI like GPT. That stuff can't be put on the glasses because that stuff needs a supercomputer to run on. I mean, it's running on an Azure supercomputer. So that stuff can't still be put on the glasses, but that requires an internet connection. So some really powerful AI, some ridiculously powerful AI is still going to need an internet connection, but the rest of it can happen entirely offline. So if you're just looking to read a shop sign, or if you're just looking to read a magazine or a newspaper article, you can still do that completely offline today with the Envision glasses. And hopefully in the future, I'm talking about the next 3 to 5 years, as these glasses, as something like the Apple Vision Pro tends to become more and more portable, I'm hoping that we can run even more powerful AI on device. I'm not hoping, I'm 100% sure we can do that,
For sure. That's confidence. I appreciate that. Do you foresee like a future for Envision where a device that you're producing would have something like eSIM built in, so you could have some form of always connected, network out and about or whatever, that we can just pull on one of the mobile networks, for example?
Yeah, I think, that's something that a lot of the hardware manufacturers will solve. Envision is always going to be a software company. Our main focus is to build the ultimate accessibility ally that is conversational, personal, and ubiquitous. And we're going to leave the hardware to the folks who do the hardware. And, we're just going to keep our focus on the software. But I'm pretty sure that the next iteration of the glasses will have some kind of eSIM capability built in, because, it's 2024 and it'll almost be like caveman technology if we don't have eSIM built into it. So we'll definitely have eSIM at some point in the future, but I don't have any particular timelines on that.
For sure. What are you most excited about the future for both Envision and AI in general, I think?
I am most excited. So the next iteration of Envision, right, is basically nothing like what it is today. Today, if you take any piece of software, any app for that matter, right, you've got these buttons that you have to click on, and you have to, navigate to different screens, and, it's still, I would say 1990s style of, user interface, right? What I'm most excited about with Envision and the next iteration of Envision is, one, going to be conversational. Envision will not have any buttons, will not have any screens that you have to navigate to. You can have a conversation. And what I mean by conversation is, not like the slow back and forth conversation that you might have with the ChatGPT app, for example, right? I'm talking about actual conversations that you can have in less than half a millisecond. You can have a conversational, it's going to have a conversational interface. it's going to be extremely personal. I think one of the things that we have noticed is that AI can remember so much, and it can remember a lot of things. And what if you could tell AI what your fitness goals are? What if you could tell your allergies, talk to it about your allergies, or if you encounter a piece of poetry that you like, you could just go ahead and give it to Envision, and Envision can remember that for you and bring that up at the right moment. And also, you will be able to personalize Envision. Like for example, give it a personality, give it a particular way of talking, give it a particular voice even, right? So Envision is also going to get extremely personal. And lastly, like I mentioned, Envision will be ubiquitous, which also means that you have Envision today on the glasses. You can use the glasses with the phone, and in a month's time you're going to have Envision on the desktop, on the web, and whatever piece of technology that might come out in the future that's capable of running AI will have Envision on it. So you can basically use Envision across all the devices that you have on you, right? So that's the future that we're building towards. That's the future that you will see in 2024. And if anyone is going to be present at CSUN, we're going to show you a glimpse of what that future is going to be. So please do drop by our booth at CSUN in March in California, and we'll be showing you a glimpse of that as well.
Fantastic. Really cool stuff. I do want to talk to you about one or two bits outside of Envision. I think a lot of people have been really interested, and I know we talked about it in regards to Envision, but in relation to the Vision Pro. Is it something you've tried? Have you tried voiceover on it? What were your initial impressions?
So I did try the Vision Pro, and we also have ordered one, just that, because we're in Europe right now, we can't go ahead and get access to it. It's sitting in my colleague's house in sunny California. So when we go there in March, I'm going to go ahead and grab it and build on it. So we've been working with the Apple Vision Pro team for a long time, and we've been working with them precisely since November. And the voiceover, when I tried it out in November, was still in wonky. It's still in the works. But the voiceover that I tried last week, because one of my friends got access to it and he brought it over to the Netherlands, and I managed to try it out with him. The voiceovers is still needs a little bit more work, but it's definitely usable. I think the Vision Pro, I think this particular, maybe not this version, but I'm very sure the next iteration of the Vision Pro is going to be very much usable by any blind or low vision person. It still requires some sighted assistance to set it up. It's not accessible out of the box like what you might expect with setting up a new iPhone or setting up a new Mac. So accessibility still needs a little bit of work, and voiceover in particular, doesn't have a lot of the gestures that you're probably used to on an iPhone. And I personally think it's not the best out there in terms of voiceover, but it's still miles ahead of any mixed reality headset that you might find, right? So I think it's still, it's and it's a hobbyist device right now. It's a very expensive device for early adopters and companies looking to, like Envision, looking to build spatial computing apps. But I'm pretty sure the next one or two iterations they're going to refine accessibility a bit more. And I've been in touch with some of the accessibility team folks and at Vision Pro, and they're extremely dedicated to making this device as accessible as possible. So I'd say I'll give it like a 6 out of 10 for accessibility at this point.
Fair enough. Really interesting. Yeah, I must say, I'm really looking forward to the world of mixed reality devices. They sent me down from head office, they've sent me down a Meta Quest device here recently. So I haven't got to plug it in and play with it and try it yet, but I'm really excited to see how this technology can help people with sight loss. There's so much out there now that, it's going to be exciting to see where all of this goes. But Karthik, thank you so much for joining us. If people do want to find out more about Envision or the Envision app or any of that kind of stuff, where can people head? Where should they check out?
Sure. So if anyone wants to know more about Envision, you can go to the Envision website. That is www.letsenvision, that is letsenvision.com. So you can go to letsenvision.com. You can search for the Envision AI app on iOS or Android. And like I mentioned, we're very soon bringing this to the desktop as well. So if you're using Windows, Mac, or Linux, you'll soon be able to install Envision app on your desktop as well. And you can also, I would strongly recommend you get a free demo of the Envision glasses as well. So you can go on our website, letsenvision.com, and request for a free one-on-one demo of the Envision glasses. And lastly, for all the American listeners and all other listeners who are going to be coming to CSUN this year in March, the Envision team is going to be there. I'm going to be there. We're going to be showing you a glimpse of the future that we spoke of today, and you'll have the actual ability to install an early beta and try it out for yourself as well. And we're going to have some very exciting features on the glasses also ready by then. So I would strongly recommend you drop by our booth, and we'll be more than happy to show you all of this stuff.
Karthik, thank you so much. I'm really excited to see where all of this goes, and you are doing absolutely incredible stuff with the glasses, and you're really pushing things forward bit by bit. So congratulations to you and the team. Thanks so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll be talking again when AI is taking over the world, I'd say.
Hopefully for the better of all humanity. That's the responsibility that all of us have. But thank you so much for having me. It was a great honor, and I'll be more than happy to come back and with some more exciting updates as and when I can talk about them. So thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
And congratulations on the 50 episodes.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we hit 50. We got there in the end. So thank you so much.
And I wish you another 50, another 100, another 500. So keep going, and
let's go one at a time.
One at a time. Yes.
One at a time. Thank you so much, Karthik. Really appreciate it. And yeah, if people do want as well to tell us their thoughts on the Envision glasses, we really would appreciate hearing from people. Send us a WhatsApp voice note. The number that you need is 086 199 0011, or send us an email to content@vi.ie. That's content@vi.ie. But now let's move on. It's Talking Technology News time.
This is Talking Technology News.
So with your latest Talking Technology News, I'm Daniel Dunn. As of iOS 17.4, Apple will be allowing iPhone users in the EU to download apps from third-party app stores. The move comes following pressure from the EU, who aren't massive fans of Apple's closed approach to apps in the ecosystem. Currently, apps on the App Store need to be approved by Apple and must use Apple's services for taking payments, but this all now looks set to change. While the move will likely lead to more options on iOS, it's unclear how accessible apps on third-party iPhone app stores will be. Will you be installing a third-party app store? Maybe let us know with a WhatsApp voice note. Next up, British broadcaster ITV have teamed up with Guinness to provide audio-described rugby matches as part of their Six Nations coverage. The matches are transmitted with live audio description, with the England versus Wales match the first to get the service. More matches are also set to get the description treatment, as the England-Ireland match on the 9th of March will also be described. Hopefully this partnership is successful, as it would really make a massive difference to blind and low vision users. If you want to hear audio description on the matches, be sure to tune into ITV on the March 9th. Be sure to check that you have audio description turned on for the enhanced experience. And there's more good rugby news for those who are colourblind, as from next year, kits will be adapted to make it easier for those who cannot see colours to watch games. Visually distinct designs may be used for matches like Ireland versus Wales, and for some traditional fans have criticised the move, it will hopefully make a positive difference. Well done to everyone in the rugby world for this great work. Hopefully Irish broadcasters and more sporting bodies will come on board in time. Finally, for now, the first reviews of Vision Pro from an accessibility perspective have come in with some interesting findings. The most notable accessibility-focused review of the Vision Pro was published on YouTube channel The Blind Life, where host Sam Seavey tried to use the device using VoiceOver. Tools like Be My AI failed to work as they couldn't seem to access the device's camera, and VoiceOver hand gestures were easily to accidentally activate. Because the hand gestures rely on cameras, the device reportedly struggles a bit in low-light environments. The video pass-through can't correctly be zoomed, with zoom only really working for Windows and apps. Because Vision Pro only fully renders the area where the user is looking, those without central vision may find it blurry too. So it sounds like the device really is in its early stages. Accessibility is always evolving on Apple products, so time will tell if this feedback is acted on, and we'll also need to wait for other reviewers to give us a more rounded perspective. A fascinating initial insight, but time will tell if Apple can truly pull off spatial accessibility. And that's it for now, but if you'd like to comment on any of these stories, please send us a WhatsApp voice note. The number you need is 086 199 0011. And for now, it's back to you, David.
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, some really interesting stuff there. Those Vision Pro reviews, it's one of these things where all of what stood out to me about that is there seems like a lot of issues there, right? But all of them are software based.
Yes.
There isn't any fundamental issues with the hardware, it seems like right now. And sure, the form factor will get better, but stuff like that, render around the edges and stuff like that, I think that's going to slowly but surely get better. But yeah, really interesting to see how all of that evolves. Are you going to be watching the audio described rugby, Daniel? Are you a rugby fan?
I wouldn't be a massive rugby fan, but I do keep an eye on the games when they're on. Try and get to see as many of them as I can. The audio description, I absolutely am intrigued how this is going to how to work in a live event, so to speak. It'd be very interesting to see, especially in the first match or two. Are there going to be any bloopers? So somebody absolutely,
yeah.
Say
Can you
something.
Imagine audio description bloopers? That's got to be a. There's a whole podcast in that. There really has to be.
I think so. I think so. I could imagine now a few of them ending up on those WhatsApp voice notes. Somebody, going back over the match and playing it again and just sending us on a few snippets from it. Absolutely do. We'd love to have a laugh as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, you were going to come in there.
Yeah, I think it's a great initiative though, because games like rugby or following rugby, it's quite difficult for somebody at times. I know we can follow it on the radio and stuff as well, but there is those phases in matches where you're stuck in one end of the field. You need that extra little piece of information. Referees' decisions as well can be very controversial, and they need to be explained properly to someone that can't see. And those little things, they're all very welcome. Even you mentioned the colour blindness, red and green. Yeah, Wales versus Ireland. It is one of those clashes. Red and green is a common problem for people with colour blindness. So I know, as you said in your news report, it's not going to go down well with the traditionalists, because one or both of those teams is going to have to change their jersey. But I suppose once it is explained, maybe in the programme notes or the programme in the match, why they're doing this, I think people will accept it. And at the end of the day, soccer teams have been wearing second and third kits for years. So I think they're two great positive initiatives, and anything that helps people keep up with their peers, I'm all up for it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I have to agree too. And even I like the hurling myself, Joe, and like Galway and Cork come on, and it could be an extra bright sunny day, or in the evening when the sun is at a low angle. It's for watching it a match or on TV. You can say, gosh, who's passing to who here?
How do you feel about the fact that it appears that the audio description is really in partnership with Guinness and the Six Nations? How do you feel about sponsored audio description?
Well, I suppose it's good. I think it's quite good. They're putting their money into the right areas, if you know what I mean. As long as they don't, no one spills my Guinness while I'm watching the match, I don't mind that.
Yeah, there you go. And I imagine the audio. I'm trying to think of like the audio description of that. It's like, you know, a man clumsily walks into Job, spilling his drink all over him. But yeah, it's. I think it's really cool. I do think that, you know, anything we can do to make like audio description sustainable. Whether that involves corporate sponsors or whatever, once it's not invasive, I think, you know, there's nothing wrong with something at the credits of the show by saying, you know, this this audio description was sponsored by whoever. I think that could be really cool.
How long do you think it'll be, David, before AI starts getting in to do audio description? You know, that maybe for pre-recorded programs, probably a bridge too far at the moment to do audio describe a live event through AI. But do you think it's something that's going to come down the tracks? You know, it may be in the medium term that AI will be powerful enough to audio describe. You know, let's say you got a rerun of Glenroe from the 1980s and it would audio describe it or something. You know, it's something that wasn't done at the time. It can you know, go back and analyze the video and audio describe it on the hop.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think that's started to happen a little bit already. Like I've noticed with like shows like Coronation Street on Virgin Media and some other shows like that. Those have used like audio described. You know, I'm guessing the scripts are all human written, but they've got text to speech voices. Personally, I think some of the voices that have been used to this end haven't been fantastic, but I have heard some really high quality text to speech voices though. Like I was playing around with 11 Labs a little bit again last night, and like the quality of those voices is mind blowing. So I do think we're going to get a point where we possibly won't be able to tell. But yeah, who knows what the future holds in that space? I don't know what your thoughts are.
I still think if humans have to, you know, kind of write the audio description for a text to speech engine to read it out, I think it's not where it needs to get, because the biggest issue is the expense in producing audio description. So I think if AI can just do it 100%, and maybe throw in those cool voices that you're on about from 11 Labs with those, I think we'd have a very interesting scenario that every program could potentially be done because it's just computing power.
Yeah, well, first of all, David, I don't think there's going to be any demand for audio description on Glenroe from the 1980s.
You would be surprised. I'd watch it, Joe.
Daniel giving away his age. I think Daniel giving away his age there.
You know, he'll do Talca Row at the same time.
Now you're going
but seriously, there was audio description on a program I was watching on Virgin Media the other night, and it was an AI voice, for want of a better word. It wasn't written up by AI, but I found the voice one of the better ones of that type. And as I said, look, rather than paying for an actor, a lot of these TV companies, they're going to start using the best AI voices they can find. And if it means me getting our description on a program, I don't mind. You know, that's fine with me, as long as the script is done correctly. But our description AI, look, it's been used, starting to be used everywhere else. It's obviously going to go that way, and I think it won't be too long before it starts happening.
True indeed.
We saw, like, I think earlier this week or late last week, we saw the announcement of OpenAI's Sora, which is like a video creation tool that can create videos from like just text descriptions and stuff. But one of the things they mentioned is that they had to give it an idea of things like, you know, physics and spatial awareness, and, you know, how different things interact with one another. And I think that's the first stage in getting to a point where AI is going to be able to analyze and provide detailed descriptions of video. So after that, like, I would imagine in the next 5 years, what you're suggesting, Daniel, is going to become very possible.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. And I think, like, when it arrives, I think it has a potential kind of to explode if the right push is behind it from, streaming companies, which will probably be pretty much taking over the world. But for traditional TV stations, like, they'll need to implement this. And I think for traditional TV that we're all used to, a lot more of the old stuff is going to start coming back, and it'll be great to see the audio description applied to those old programs. To make them available again, and because there's only so much TV programs that they can produce. They have to rerun certain amount of stuff. Sure. And I think it's a nice touch to be able to go back and visit some of the older programs, bring in the audio description onto it, and have that there.
Yeah, for sure. And even think of stuff like YouTube videos. Like, not every YouTuber realistically is going to be able to provide audio description, but what they could do in theory then something very similar to what they've done with closed captions on YouTube. So you could just enable, I guess, AI generated audio description. And sure, if the YouTuber wants to provide their own audio described tracks, I know some YouTubers like Tom Scott and others have experimented with that before, then great. But I do think this is going to go in a very interesting area for sure. Absolutely. Daniel, thank you so much for tech news as always. Daniel, you're actually sticking around for quick picks this week, so do stay with us. But if you want to get in touch with any of us here to talk about some of the topics in tech news, or maybe there's something happening in the tech world we missed, let's face it, it happens. Do send us an email to content@vi.ie, or send us a WhatsApp voice note to 086 199 0011. Right, it is Quick Picks time.
It's time for VI Labs Quick Picks.
And we are starting off Quick Picks this week with the legend that is Mr. Joe Larnagan. Joe, how are we?
I'm good, David. Thanks again.
So, Joe, quick picks this week. We've got the Echo Pop. What is the Echo Pop?
Yes, the Echo Pop. Basically, all the Echo Pop is a smart speaker that's a little bit smaller than your Amazon Echo, the standard. So I think we're at the 5th generation of the Amazon Echo now. It's a more basic version of the Echo Pop. So it means it's cheaper. So if all you want to do is basic voice commands and control your smart home stuff, and get through to the Amazon Echo Cloud with voice commands, the Echo Pop might be a handy smart speaker for you. So maybe it's in your garden room or your home office or something. You might want a little smart speaker in the corner, or even in a toy room or playroom. The Echo Pop could be the job. The sound isn't as good as the Amazon Echo, and it doesn't include there's technology that detects when you're in a room. It doesn't have that. It also doesn't have a temperature detector, so it's missing a couple of features that the Amazon Echo has. It comes in many different colours, teal and white, and there's a blue and I think there's a grey as well. There's a few different colours. You can check them out on the Amazon website. But you can also buy sleeves for it, so silicone sleeves, if you prefer even more different colours, and one is actually glow in the dark. So I suppose the look of it, it's described as an Echo with the front cut off, if you know what I mean, or something like that. So
yeah,
half
it looks
of an
like
Echo.
a kind of an Echo with like a tennis ball chopped in half kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing is a front loading speaker rather than 360 speaker. So then that might mean the sound isn't as good, even though it sounds more powerful. It's not as good, we'll say, as full. But it does the job, put it that way. There is only 3 physical buttons on it, up, down, and mute. There is no action button, which is a strange one, but not that many people use the action button. I never really use the action button.
I've never used it.
Yeah, sometimes when it's on my office desk, I may use it when it's in arm's reach, but generally the action button is the least used button on my smart speaker. At the end of the day, it is a product that you use voice commands with, so I use everything on it with my voice. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't really use the physical buttons that often. But they are tactile, and if you choose to use them, you will learn them very easily. There's no 3.5 millimeter plug-in either, so that if that was your thing, plugging in anything to it, to an external speaker or something like that, you might be able to do it wirelessly, but not with a 3.5 millimeter jack. It just has all the rest of the stuff is the same as your Echo Dot speaker. It's just this one is a little bit cheaper, around the 10-15 euros mark cheaper. Is it worth getting? Would it not be worth getting the more expensive model? Maybe for some. But that's what the Echo Pop is, and that's our quick pick for this week on smart speaker level. But would I recommend it? Yeah, I'd recommend it if you want a cheaper option and you just need a basic smart speaker, like even for a kid's room. Yeah, I'd go ahead with it.
Yeah, it's one of these things, isn't it, where everyone knows, I think, at this stage what Alexa is and what Alexa can do. Now I think this is just bringing that to a slightly different form factor. And if it suits you, I think you'll know that yourself in many regards. Like, I do think, from my point of view, the Echo Pop, I love the fact, and it's something so stupid, but I love the fact that it just has such a variety of colours that I think that's really I think that's cool, and something that HomePod, in like the big smart speaker sites, HomePod has been ahead of Alexa in that regard. You can get Alexa in like a kind of a slightly off blue, and there's been a red limited edition one at times, but there's been no like vibrant poppy colours. But yeah, I think this is starting to change that, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. It is. It may be aimed at the younger user, but I'm not so sure. I think it's just used the basic user who just wants a smart speaker in an unusual place that's not used that often, or maybe a utility room or an office, as I said, or a garden room or something like that.
For sure. Joe, thank you so much for that. And we have a second quick pick this week, and we're going back to Daniel because it's Android based. Daniel, you are a big fan of the old Android, and this week we are talking about Google Action Blocks. Now, Daniel, what the hell are Google Action Blocks? Tell me.
Okay, so Google Action Blocks were released, it's actually a few years back in March, April 2020, so around about the time we got that COVID. But now that we're out of it, Action Blocks, they've improved the features of it and what they can do. So they're quite versatile. And one particular aspect I like about Google Action Blocks is from a low vision perspective. Often, and your service users would find locating contacts on their phone or speaking to the phone to call a contact can be quite cumbersome. It mightn't, it might not always deliver the results you want. But if you have, if you have some usable vision, you could actually automate calling somebody on, nearly full screen on the phone. So what Action Blocks would allow you to do basically is you put in an action. What's the action? Okay, I want to call Joe Lonergan. And then you go in and you give it a name. You could say call Joe Lonergan. Often people do this. It's set the same name as the actual command, which is called Joe Lonergan. And then there's another option to add in a photograph. So I can go into my gallery, or I can activate the camera if Joe is in front of me, take a photograph of Joe. Or if I have a photo of Joe in my gallery, I can pick a photo of Joe out of the gallery and apply that to that particular action block. The action block then gets placed on a new screen, right? So do you know the way you'd swipe left and right through the different apps screens that you might have in your phone?
Yeah.
Well, it puts one on at the end. And next thing, there's up in the top left, there's this a nice size box with Joe's face in it. You can actually long press that and resize it out to get nearly full screen. And what happens is if you tap on that photograph, then it'll automatically call Joe Lonergan.
That's really cool, isn't it?
Yeah, so you could start adding in, maybe the top, your top 5 or top 8 or top 10 contacts have their photographs on it. So as you scroll through the screen, you're looking for their photograph, and then you just tap on that and boom, it rings them. You can also set up a procedure to text them, or if there was a particular app that you used a lot, and, let's say WhatsApp, and it was an absolute devil to find WhatsApp, you could actually set up a big, huge WhatsApp, nearly the size of the full screen, a glorified photograph of WhatsApp that you can go into it and use it. So it's very versatile, but from the point of view of actually calling people, and I think where this really fits in, is maybe some of our more elderly listeners who find quite a struggle maybe to use a smartphone. Maybe Google doesn't pick up your speech perfectly, and you could ask it to call John and it could call Sean, this kind of thing. So it gives another option to make it easy to call and stay in contact with somebody. And there's no limit to how many contacts you're in. You can add to these screens, and it would make something like your smartphone screen very easy. Just keep flicking through until you get to the person you want.
Yeah, you find the
tap
person.
On that photograph and off it goes. It rings them.
That's really handy. You can do something similar on the iOS side using the Shortcuts app. There is the ability to add, you can add icons to your home screen if you want, sure, but you can also add widgets onto the home screen, which is similar, but the downside, I think, to the iOS way of doing this is I don't think you can currently add a custom picture to your shortcut.
No.
And people can correct me if I'm wrong in that, but I do think there's a lot to be said for just having someone's photo, and it makes it simpler to just say, tap the picture of John to call John, or tap the picture of Daniel to call Daniel. It makes it easier, I think, for people.
Absolutely. I've set this up for a few people, see how to get on with it. They love it. Absolutely love it. And, I think for anyone out there, and, it doesn't even have to be low vision related. It could be just anybody, and not, I don't mean to pick on the elderly, because there's some fantastic elderly technology users out there, but there are some who are, just didn't grow up with it. It's a little bit difficult, and I think if you could put that, put something like that on for somebody to make it so easy for them to call somebody, it's just a matter of finding their photo, hitting it, and it's calling them.
And I presume, Daniel, this can be broader than just calls as well. Is this
absolutely.
Any Google action?
There's quite a bit. Like you could set it to open a particular app. You could set it to do a text message, or there's plenty in it. If you're going to, you can set it to do a video call. So if you wanted a video call, maybe you want to set one of those contacts that you're calling, actually video call it, because maybe if you're calling this person, it's just something serious going on that you need help. So maybe, have the video call going on. You could set it to automatically play a video, play music, open an app, open a website, directions to a specified place, set an alarm, put a reminder. You can even have it, for your smart home lights, turn the lights on, turn the lights off, set a temperature on your heating system, calendar events. There's actually a couple of extra features on it, where you can get the phone, and I'm thinking somebody, might have extra needs, that you can ask the phone maybe to read out, hello, my name is. So maybe somebody who had speech issues.
Yeah, for sure.
You can set up these cards that the phone will say something, and then there's other ones there, yes and no. So if somebody wanted to answer somebody just pictorially, they could do that as well. There's quite a bit in it. Very flexible. I like what it can do for even just for phone calls, and imagine opening one or two maybe of the more popular apps.
Even something as simple as, like, we talked about how people earlier might use something like Envision or Seeing AI or Be My AI to read post or something like that. Just have a simple button there that you tap it and boom, it's ready to read the post. That can be very impactful, especially for someone who isn't that tech savvy.
Yeah, exactly. The less swipe, I know you probably can't avoid the swiping on the screen, but the less tap here, find, going around the screen to find the different components of something. It's one tap, it does that action, and I think makes it so simple. Absolutely makes it so simple.
Brilliant.
So it's for anyone listening, it's on Android. It's called Google Action Blocks. So go into your Play Store, type in Action Blocks up at the top in the search bar, and hit that search and install it, and have a look. Try out maybe setting up 1 or 2 calls on the screen. I'd love to hear back from people that might be already using it or who intend to use it, and let us know their experience. Maybe they can come back to us on that WhatsApp number with a voice note.
Absolutely. Daniel, thank you so much for that. Really do appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who contributed to the show today, to Joe, to Karthik, to Daniel, to everyone who worked on it over the last little while. Really appreciate your help on the show today. And thanks so much to you for listening. If you do want to get in touch with us at any stage at all, just send us an email to content@vi.ie, or you can send us a WhatsApp voice note to 086 199 0011. That's 086 199 0011. That's it for now. Thank you so much for listening. If you do enjoy the show, please do be sure to leave us a rating on apps like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We'd absolutely love to hear your feedback over there, and it really does help more people hear about the podcast, so we'd really, really appreciate that. But for now, thanks so much for listening. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks' time for another episode of Talking Technology. And for now, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to the Talking Technology podcast with VI Labs. If you'd like to support our show, please visit vi.ie/donate. Talking Technology is proudly sponsored by IA Labs, the market leader in digital accessibility services. IA Labs, digital inclusion, your legal obligation.
When we launched our new voice notes feature, we knew that some people would use it more than others. Some people, though, go above and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Dorian.
Hi, I'd like to suggest some topics for discussion. When are you going to be talking about hoverboards? Now, don't tell me they don't exist, because I know they do. Somebody's covering them up. So can you please start talking about them? Thank you. Yeah, I've got a joke for you, Talking Technology. What's the technical name for a fear of giants? Phobia. That one you can use. I'd like to make an official complaint to Talking Technology, please. They told us that one time a computer showed up late to work, and then the answer was that it had a hard drive. I didn't like that very much. Hi, can I give some feedback to Talking Technology, please? I want to ask if you can talk about the relationship with Wi-Fi and prison, because there were 0 bars in that prison. Thank you. I was wondering if you could talk about the latest and greatest work site technology. So I'm looking for discussions on left-handed screwdrivers, also silencers for drills, but also that time you need to get a bucket and catch a voltage drop. So all of these things would be great to talk about. Thank you. Hi, Vision Island Talking Technology. Just like to give you some feedback if I could. There's a lot of talk about technology, but very little talk about the latest and greatest pizza in the world. So be my eyes, but more like be my pepperoni if you could. Just thought I'd give you a little bit of feedback. So less technology talk, more pizza talk, please. Hey, Talking Technology, it's Dorian here. Just wanted to congratulate you on another great show as always. Happy 50th. I know I've been sending through a lot of voice notes lately, but I just really love this new feature. It's made the show so much better, I think more interactive. I can't wait to send more voice notes in the next week, if you permit me, and hopefully you'll even use some of my jokes. So chat again soon. Remember, I'll always be your biggest fan. Thanks everyone at Talking Technology, and speak to you soon. Bye.